Hi, I'm Beth. I am a knitter from the suburbs of Chicago who works as a paraprofessional, which gives me my summers off, and I am posting weekly for the summer of 2022 to talk about my knits. And this week I will be talking about what I'm wearing. Unfortunately, I have no additional finished objects, but I do have a lot of progress on some WIPs to talk about, as well as a new one. So I'm excited about that. And unfortunately this week, neither the mailman nor the UPS man had anything to deliver to me. So no new arrivals, but it is what it is. I'll talk about what I have. I'll talk about what I'm doing. I do have a knitting related event that I am planning to attend, so I'll be talking about that a little bit too. So, to start off with what I'm wearing today, this is Bloomsbury by Svetlana Volkova, and it is knit in Plucky Knitter Trusty worsted in the colorway Whole Lotta Terracotta number 4. And this was my first worsted weight, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I believe this was my first worsted weight raglan sweater. And I loved knitting this because it went so fast. In worsted weight, amazing. I don't know, like anybody who has done any knitting that like you go from a fingering weight project to a DK project to a worsted weight project, it's just, and even bulky or super bulky, such a difference from one yarn to the next. And I just love how fast it goes. Like, I have done so many fingering weight projects that I've felt like were such a slog to get through. And then when you do something even just up to a sport weight, you're like, wow, this goes so much faster. So every time I go from something that is a tiny thin yarn to something that is a much thicker yarn, I'm always like, yes, this is unbelievable how fast it's going. So what I loved about it when I saw it at first was all this lace on it, and anything with texture makes me just swoon. So whether it's lace or whether it is cables or seed stitch, anything that has any kind of texture, just that is what I really like to, that's what I like to look at on knitted wear, but it's also what I like to make. And I love color work. I like looking at color work, but to me with color work, I don't look at it and think, oh, how'd they do that? Whereas with texture, that's usually what I'm looking at. I'm looking at thinking about, oh, what did they do there? How did they create that? And then when a designer puts a pattern out, I get to see that and understand that and recreate it for myself. So that's just my thing. I think color work is beautiful, and I commend anyone who does great color work, because that for me is a huge struggle right now. And we'll talk about that more when we get into my WIPs. So anyway, Bloomsbury, I know a lot of people talked about, when you look at the projects on Ravelry, a lot of people talk about having difficulty with the charts, the lace charts. And I know when I did it, I didn't have that same struggle. So I don't know. I feel like I was new to charts when I did this, because I knit this in from, according to my Ravelry page, if it's accurate, I started it in January of 21 and finished it that March. So I was still fairly new to just knitting in general, and probably new to lace charts, I would imagine. But I felt like it was pretty easy to follow. Some people talked about even and odd rows, and that they didn't line up with the even and odd rows on the main body. So if anyone is looking to knit this, I would say check out the Ravelry notes of other people, and, you know, make sure you understand what other people are talking about before you jump into it. So I found it to be great. I love the way it fits. I have worn it multiple times to work as well as other places. And the only thing that I have sometimes had a problem with is that this is, it's a very heavy sweater. I shouldn't say that. It's a warm yarn. That's what I'll say. It's a warm yarn. It's very, this is the only sweater that I have ever knit that I have put it on and thought, whew, I might need to take this off at some point. And not weather related, meaning like I've worn this in the winter and thought, I don't know if I can wear this all day at work. So that's, and I don't know whether this, I haven't looked at the label recently. I don't know whether this is a non-superwash. It must be. It must be, because I know that I have blocked this without using my washing machine. Because normally non-superwash, I don't know, I don't think I've ever done a sweater, a superwash sweater in the washing machine. I just remembered something else I want to talk about, and I didn't talk about that in my opening. So, something I did, speaking of blocking, something I did this week is I re-blocked my, you can see it right there, this sweater. It is the Hohi Locatelli Meridian cardigan, and I did a little twirl this morning to show how it turned out after a blocking. On a previous episode, I don't remember which one, I talked in depth about this cardigan, and I showed how the two sides are like so far apart from each other. And I had mentioned that I thought maybe a good blocking would remedy that. No such luck, unfortunately. So if you want to know more about that cardigan, I will put it below which episode that's in. Ooh, maybe I can figure out how to do one of those little link it here things that you guys can just click on if you want to see more. Anyway, that's the update on that. So, done with FOs, or what I'm wearing, whatever you want to call this segment. Next, I am going to talk about WIPs. The first WIP I want to talk about today is not entirely a WIP yet. I don't know. Do you consider when you are gauge swatching to be a WIP? Because I haven't actually started the project yet, but I have gauge swatched. So I am planning to go to the Frivolous and Frugal meetup tomorrow, which by the time this is posted will be today. I'm actually releasing this video early this week because I'm planning to go to that. So I'm so excited. Anyway, so on Thursday, they are doing a Campside cast-on party. So I have done some gauge swatching, and I actually have 3 swatches. So this is my first one in the recommended needle size. So the yarn, I should probably do that first. The yarn is Direful yarns in her Direful DK base, and it is in the colorway Stormy Skies. I love all these grays and blues and greens, little pops of red. I love this yarn. This is a superwash DK weight, and I'm excited to make a cardigan from it. I did talk about it a little bit last week, but I have now gauge swatched. So this is the gauge swatch that I made with the recommended needle size. And I do think you can see the, what do you call them? The eyelets pretty well in this gauge swatch as I'm looking at it on screen. So problem is I was not getting gauge. So that, I think she says you need 19 stitches in over 4 inches. And I, pre-blocking, I was getting 18 stitches. Post-blocking, it's 17. So that's not going to work for me, or at least it's not going to make the size that I wanted. I would have to alter which size I want to knit if I went with that needle size. So here's the size 7. So I went down a needle size, and on this one, pre-blocking, still got 18 stitches, but post-blocking, 18 stitches. So closer. I don't know, like the eyelets, I feel like they're much smaller on this one. So seeing it on camera is actually changing my opinion. I may end up using a different needle size and making a different size. So find out next week. And this one, I actually hit gauge with, this is dropped down to a size 6 needle. So did I get gauge? Now I'm trying to remember. I think I did get 19 stitches and 4 inches on this one. Is that saying too much? Am I not supposed to say what the gauge is? No, they say that on Ravelry, right? whatever. I don't think, nobody's gonna create a cardigan exactly like this without the pattern and just because I gave away the gauge swatch size. Anyway, so I don't know, what do you think? What do you think? Comment below if you're so inspired. At this point, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the size 7, or at least I was thinking that prior to recording. Let's see. So there's the 7, and those are the eyelets that I was eyeballing. And there's the 8. No, that first one that I was saying, that was a 6. Wait a minute. Yes, this is the 6. And I know that because on the 6, I got smart and did some purl stitches to indicate how the size of the needle. 6 pearls, size 6 needle. These two, if I got a tighter gauge on the 8 than I did on the 7, I'd be surprised, but I forgot to mark it. So, lesson learned. Although I knew this before. Does anybody else do that? Like, oh, I'll remember which one is which. It doesn't matter. Anyway. I'm still in the deciding process. If you want to chime in and let me know what you think, do so before 8 p.m. tomorrow. Otherwise, it's already cast on. So that is, did I say what that was? Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. That's my first WIP. Second WIP. Wow, it's going to be a quick one today. All right, my second WIP is, I got to show. This is from Rowan magazine number 71. It is called Free, and it is by Ulrik. I apologize that I am in the middle of a row, but I'm doing short rows. So this is the back of the cardigan. What's this on here? Oh, and it's the inside. All right, so this is the back of the cardigan. Oh man, can I show it this way? There we go. Okay, so I am almost finished with the back. I'm so excited. I can't wait to finish this. So I finished, let's see, let me show the right side because that's the finished side. So here's the right side, here's the back. So I am almost up to, I'm on the short rows for the shoulders of it. So, whoop. And I'm excited, can you tell? Anyway, Free by Ulrik. I almost forgot to mention the yarn for this pattern is Rowan cotton cashmere in the colorway Seed. By 2 weeks time, I expect to be finished with the back as well as the left side, and then onto sleeves. Now I'm gonna be doing some road tripping soon, where my son will be holding down the fort here, taking care of the animals. And when I say animals, here's a sidetrack I didn't expect to go on. We have a dog, Shadow. He's a lab mix. We got him from a shelter. And we also have Here's something I never told you guys about. A pandemic pet. 3 of them. I worked at an elementary school when the pandemic hit, and the first grade classes were studying hermit crabs because essentially the idea was, how do animals protect themselves? So for first graders, we talked about hermit crabs because they wear shells. So I took the hermit crabs home at the time that the pandemic hit, thinking that for 2 to 3 weeks, I'd be taking care of hermit crabs and I'd bring them back to the school and some fortunate little first grader would get to take them home. And I think we all know how that story ends. Didn't go back to school that year, and now I am the fortunate owner of 3 hermit crabs, and their names are Solo, Sunny, and Salty. And yeah, they're much harder to take care of than I ever knew when I took them home. I think most first graders taking home these science projects would probably not know what to do, and in the process the poor things would die, and I couldn't imagine just not taking responsibility for these things. So I did a lot of research, and I now know how to take care of hermit crabs, and I highly recommend that if you want to get hermit crabs, you do a lot of research first, because it's difficult to find out how. Anyway, my next WIP is living in, I don't think I've shown this bag. Take the yarn off of it. This bag is from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I bought it online. I know that they are in Illinois somewhere, but being that they're not the suburbs of Chicago, as far as I know, they're pretty far away. So I've never been there. Someday I would like to. We'll see when my plans work out for that. But this WIP is, what's it called again? It's been a while. Nomad tee. Actually, it hasn't been that long. I showed it last week. I even did a twirl with it last week. I haven't made all that much progress on it, but this one, it's a slog. And nothing against the designer, nothing against the pattern. It is just, for me, color work in fingering weight yarn, it's a lot. I'm not, number one, fingering weight yarn on a large project, it's a lot. And number two, color work. And I made the choice to make it 3 colors in color work. So I blame no one for that except me. So I'm doing this 3 color thing that should be 2 colors, and initially was designed as mosaic, and I chose to do it in color work as opposed to mosaic. Totally my fault. So I haven't yet said, this is designed by Rachel Illsley of Unwind Knitwear, and it is in 2 Suburban Stitcher colorways, as well as a long dog yarn, which is the green, and ooh, just saw it on screen and went, wow, that's pretty. And then the 4th color is a Cascade Heritage. I will list them all in the notes for anyone who's interested. But so this is a sideways knit tee for anyone who has not been following along with me. Let's see. Yeah, this is the right side. So it is sideways knit, and it is super adorable. I love what it looks like in the designer's photo, and that's what made me want to do it. And I do want to say, I opted for the non-color work sleeve only because I like the look of the shorter sleeve better, like the cap sleeve. So that was my choice, and it was the cap sleeve version that made me want to knit it, because the colorwork sleeve is like almost to the elbow, and I prefer the look of the shorter sleeve. I like the women's tee type look. So now that I see it on camera, I like it so much better. It's so funny. A different perspective just, can make things night and day. And I don't mean anything about, like, I didn't dislike the look of it. I have been working on it, and like when you're focused in on this row, that's what I'm working on, is this row. You don't always see the big picture. And so seeing this on camera, I'm now more excited to finish this. I can't wait now. I want to wear this. I want to put this on, and it's not ready yet. It would be rather indecent. So anyway, that's all I've got for you this week. I have talked about all of my WIPs, and well, all of the WIPs that I'm currently actually actively working on. And the only thing going on with me right now that I am really like, I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so excited because I'm going to the Frivolous and Frugal meetup, and I know that, like, it's nothing fancy. It's, people bring their own snacks, and it's just a bunch of people gathering at a hotel and just hanging out and knitting and chit-chatting. So it's not like a big event. It's just a bunch of people getting together, knitting and talking. So I am excited about that. I've never done that before. This is totally new to me. So I'm excited to meet some people that I have watched on YouTube, and people who maybe some of them have even seen me. I don't know. Nobody has, well, one person has said that. No, maybe two. I don't know. But, and I don't, you know what? I don't even care. Like, I am not there. I'm not going there to be like, hey, I'm a podcaster, you should watch me. I'm going there because I have never been to a group knitting event of any kind. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm hoping that I will get to meet other knitters in my area who I can get together with more frequently even. And maybe there's a group that's local that I can go hang out with, meet some people in person, find people that I click with, and socialize in that way. All of my friends don't knit. Can you imagine? I'm sure there are other people out there in the same boat as I am. So if you are one of those people, please come to Hoffman Estates, hang out with me, come say hello. I'm very excited to meet new people. I like to talk to everyone. I'm one of those people who is like an includer. When I see somebody who looks like they are not involved in the group thing, I frequently will come and talk to them and, you know, try to bring them in and be part of the group thing. So if that describes you, come say hi. I am very excited about going to the Frivolous and Frugal meetup in Chicago, in Hoffman Estates actually. But I just want to say thank you to all of you who have joined me on my journey as I go through this summer. And I hope you all, if you're not there, or even if you are there, I hope you all have a great week. And I hope to talk to you in whatever way is most comfortable for you soon. Have a good week. Keep knitting.